Legacy of the Forgotten. Captain Alina Reyes ran her hand along the worn command rail of the Valiant's bridge, feeling the slight indentation where decades of captains had stood before her. The Earth Alliance vessel, once the pride of humanity's fleet, now carried the unofficial designation of outdated in all but official documentation. Through the main view screen, she watched as sleek, modern ships of the Alliance glided past, their hulls gleaming with fresh paint and cutting-edge technology. In contrast, the Valiant was a relic from another era, patched and repatched, modified, and jury-rigged to keep flying long past its intended service life. Quite a sight, isn't it? Commander Jackson said, stepping up beside her. Her first officer had been with the ship almost as long as she had. 15 years serving on a vessel the Alliance had tried to retire at least 3 times. "They're all shine and no soul," Alina replied, a hint of pride in her voice despite everything. "Captain," called Lieutenant Chen from her communication station, incoming transmission from Alliance Command. Alina straightened her worn uniform jacket. "Put it through." The view screen changed to show Admiral Donovan's stern face. He hadn't bothered to hide his disdain for the Valiant or its captain in years. "Captain Reyes, I see that old bucket is still holding together." Alina forced herself to maintain her composure. "Still flying, sir. The Valiant has never let us down." "That's about to be tested. I'm sending coordinates for your final mission." A chill ran through Alina at the Admiral's words. The crew had known this was coming, but hearing it said aloud made it real. "We're being decommissioned then?" she asked, keeping her voice steady. "Yes. After this mission, the Valiant will be retired and your crew reassigned. Some equipment simply can't keep up with modern threats, Captain." Behind her, Jackson made a small noise of disagreement but remained silent. "What's the mission, sir?" Alina asked. "We've detected unusual energy readings at the edge of charted space. Probably nothing. Could be a sensor malfunction or a natural phenomenon. But we need someone to check it out." Alina understood what wasn't being said. This was busy work, a meaningless final task for an outdated ship before it was scrapped. "Sending the coordinates now," Donovan continued. "Complete the mission and return to Earth Station for decommissioning." Donovan out. The screen went dark, leaving the bridge in silence. "Well," Alina finally said, turning to face her bridge crew, "it seems we have one last adventure. They're just trying to keep us out of the way," Lieutenant Commander Vega said from his tactical station, "sending us to chase ghosts while the real ships do the real work." Alina looked at her crew, all veterans who had chosen to stay with the Valiant rather than transfer to newer ships. They had become more like family than colleagues. "Maybe so," she replied, "but we'll do what we've always done. Complete the mission and prove that experience counts for more than new technology." She turned to the helm officer. "Lieutenant Catry, set course for these coordinates, maximum speed." "Aye, Captain." As the ship hummed to life and prepared to jump to faster-than-light travel, Alina sat in her command chair, running her hand along the armrest where the padding had worn thin from years of use. Later that evening, Alina met with her senior officers in the ship's small conference room. Like much of the Valiant, it showed its age, scratched table surfaces, outdated display screens, and lighting panels that occasionally flickered. "Let's talk about what we know," Alina began. "Chen, what information did Command send about these energy readings?" Chen brought up a display. "Not much, Captain. Just coordinates and basic sensor data. The energy signature doesn't match anything in our database, which means it could be something new and important," Commander Jackson said, leaning forward, always excited by the unknown. "Or it could be nothing," Vega countered. The security chief was naturally suspicious, a trait that had saved the ship more than once. "Either way," Alina said, "we're going to investigate properly. Jackson, I want you to prepare the ship's sensors for detailed scans. Vega, run a full weapons check, just in case. The weapons systems are outdated compared to what the fleet has now," Vega noted. Jackson smiled. Maybe on paper, but they don't know about our modifications. Over the years, the engineering team had made numerous unofficial upgrades to the Valiant, changes that weren't in any official record. Command would never have approved many of them, which was why they were kept secret. The ship might look outdated, but it had capabilities that even the newest vessels didn't possess. Chen, Elena continued, keep monitoring for any additional communications from Command or any other ships in that sector. There shouldn't be any, Chen replied. The coordinates are far from regular patrol routes or trade lanes. Elena nodded slowly. Which makes me wonder why they're sending us all the way out there for what they claim is probably nothing. The officers exchanged knowing looks. They had all served long enough to recognize when they weren't being told the whole truth. Captain, Lieutenant Katri said quietly, do you think this could be related to the rumors about the Drakari? The Drakari were an alien species that had been in a tense standoff with humanity for nearly a decade, not quite war, but far from peace. What rumors? Vega asked. I heard from a friend on the Pathfinder that there have been unusual Drakari movements near the outer sectors. Chakri explained. Nothing official, just whispers. Elena considered this. It would explain why Command is being vague. They don't want to start a panic if the Drakari are up to something. And they might be sending us because, Jackson began. Because we're expendable, Vega finished. Or, Jackson suggested with a hint of pride, because despite what they say publicly, they know the Valiant can handle itself in a tough situation. Elena stood up and walked to the small viewport. Stars streaked by as the ship traveled through space. Whatever the reason, we'll be ready. This ship may be old, but it's far from outdated where it counts. She turned back to her officers. Get some rest. We arrive at the coordinates in 10 hours. As the meeting ended and the officers filed out, Elena remained in the conference room alone. She pulled out a small data chip from her pocket. Private orders from Admiral Santos, Donovan's superior. Unlike Donovan, Santos had always respected the Valiant and its crew. Elena inserted the chip into a reader, and encrypted text appeared on the screen. Elena, the official mission is cover. What you're really looking for is evidence of a Drakari superweapon. Intelligence suggests they've discovered something ancient and powerful. Your outdated ship might be our best asset. The Drakari won't consider you a threat. Be careful, old friend. The fate of the Alliance may depend on what you find. Elena deleted the message and crushed the chip. She had suspected there was more to this mission, but a potential superweapon raised the stakes considerably. The Valiant might be heading toward its final mission, but Elena was determined it would be one that mattered. Maybe then people would stop calling her ship outdated. She straightened her uniform and headed for the bridge. The crew didn't need to know everything yet. Better to let them rest while they could. Tomorrow they would face whatever waited for them at the edge of known space, and Elena knew one thing for certain. Outdated or not, the Valiant and its crew wouldn't go quietly into retirement. The alarm woke Captain Rice from a light sleep. She had dozed off in her chair after reviewing old mission logs, searching for any previous encounters with the Drakari that might help their current mission. Captain to the bridge. Chen's voice came through the comm system. We're approaching the coordinates. Elena straightened her uniform and made her way through the familiar corridors of the Valiant. The ship had been her home for so long that she could navigate it with her eyes closed, feeling every vibration and sound like they were extensions of her own body. When she stepped onto the bridge, her crew was already at their stations, faces lit by the glow of control panels. Report, Elena said, settling into her command chair. We're dropping out of FTL now, Chatri announced from the helm. The view screen showed the streaking stars slow and settle into distant points of light. Sensors active, Jackson said from the science station. Running full spectrum scans. Elena leaned forward. What are we looking at? The view screen adjusted to show what appeared to be empty space, but as the sensors focused, something began to take shape. A massive structure floating against the blackness of space. What is that? Vega asked, voicing what everyone was thinking. Jackson worked his controls, enhancing the image. It's artificial, Captain. Approximately 2 kilometers in length. The structure is made of materials I've never seen before. Our sensors can barely read it. The object on the screen was unlike anything they had encountered. It had a circular design with a hollow center, like a massive ring or gateway. Strange markings covered its surface, glowing with a soft blue light. Is it Drakari? Elena asked. Chen shook her head. The design doesn't match any known Drakari technology. This is something else entirely. The energy readings are off the charts, Jackson added. It's putting out more power than our ship's reactor, but I can't identify the source. Elena stood and approached the view screen. Take us closer, Katri. Slow approach. Vega, keep weapons on standby, but do not power them up yet. The Valiant edged toward the mysterious structure. As they drew closer, the blue glow pulsed subtly, as if responding to their presence. Captain, Chen called out, I'm detecting unusual radiation patterns. They're forming what looks like a data stream. Can you decode it? Elena asked. Chen worked at her station. It's not like any communication protocol I've seen, but there's a pattern to it. Give me time, and I might be able to figure something out. Elena nodded. Do what you can. Captain, Jackson interrupted, his voice tense. I'm detecting something else. A gravitational distortion about half a light hour away. Something's coming. Elena turned to Vega. Identify. Vega's fingers flew over his console. Ships, multiple signatures. They're using some kind of cloaking technology, but our modified sensors can detect their engine emissions. Drakari? Elena asked, though she already knew the answer. Yes, sir. A battle group, 1 command ship, and at least 6 support vessels. They're heading straight for us. Elena's mind raced. The Drakari were a militaristic species, proud and aggressive. If they were sending a battle group, they clearly valued this strange structure. Time until they reach us? Elena asked. At their current speed, 15 minutes, Chatri reported. Options. Elena looked at her senior officers. We could try to hide behind the structure, Vega suggested. They'll detect us eventually, Chen countered. We could send a message to command, Chatri offered. Jackson shook his head. The nearest Earth Alliance ship is days away. We're on our own. Elena walked a slow circle around the bridge, considering their situation. The Valiant was outgunned and outmatched. Even with Jackson's modifications, they couldn't hope to defeat a Drakari battle group. Captain, Chen said suddenly, I've made some progress with the data stream. It's not a communication. It's more like instructions for a doorway. Explain, Elena demanded. The radiation pattern is creating a stable field in the center of the ring structure. It's similar to the theories about dimensional gateways that scientists have been working on for decades. Jackson moved to Chen's station and studied her readings. She's right. This thing isn't a weapon. It's a gateway to somewhere else. Can we use it? Elena asked. Jackson and Chen exchanged uncertain looks. Theoretically, Jackson said, but we have no idea where it leads. 10 minutes until Drakari intercept, Vega announced. Elena faced a decision that would determine not just their fate, but potentially the fate of Earth. If the Drakari captured this technology, they could use it against the Alliance. Chen, can you activate the gateway? Elena asked. I think so, she replied. The data stream contains what appears to be activation sequences. Do it, Elena ordered. Katri, position us directly in front of the center of the ring. As Chen worked to decode the activation sequence, the rest of the bridge crew watched in silence. The Drakari ships were growing closer by the minute. Captain, Vega said quietly, what are you planning? Elena met her security chief's gaze. Sometimes the only way out is through. Understanding dawned on Vega's face. You're going to take us through the gateway. It's a risk, Elena acknowledged, but our options are limited. We can surrender to the Drakari, try to fight and certainly lose, or take a chance on the unknown. The old Valiant, surprising everyone again, Jackson said with a grim smile. I like it. 5 minutes to intercept, Chatri reported. They're increasing speed. Chen, Elena asked. I've identified the activation sequence, she replied. Sending it now. The bridge crew watched as the blue glow of the structure intensified. The hollow center began to fill with swirling energy, like water spinning down a drain but in reverse. Colors that none of them had names for spiraled and danced. It's working, Chen said, her voice filled with awe. The Drakari are hailing us, Vega reported. They're ordering us to move away from the structure. No response, Elena ordered. Chatri, take us in, full impulse power. Chatri hesitated for just a moment. Sir, we don't know what's on the other side. Elena placed a hand on her helmsman's shoulder. That's true, but we do know what's behind us. Sometimes, the unknown is better than certain defeat. Chatri nodded and set the course. All hands, secure for possible turbulence, Elena announced shipwide. We're about to make history. The Valiant moved forward, its aging hull reflecting the strange energies emanating from the gateway. As they approached the swirling center, the ship began to vibrate. Structural integrity holding, Jackson reported, but just barely. 2 minutes to Drakari intercept, Vega announced. They're charging weapons. Steady, Elena said, gripping her command chair. Steady. The nose of the Valiant touched the energy field, causing ripples like a stone dropped in a pond. Then, slowly, the ship began to pass through. Energy levels spiking. Jackson shouted over the growing noise of the straining ship. Light filled the bridge, blinding and intense. Elena felt a strange sensation, as if her body was being pulled in all directions at once. The last thing she heard was Vega's voice. The Drakari are firing. Then everything went white, and the Valiant, the ship they called outdated, disappeared from known space. Beyond the threshold, pain was the first thing Captain Elena Reyes felt when she opened her eyes. Her head throbbed, and a warm trickle of blood ran down her temple. The bridge of the Valiant was dark, lit only by emergency lights and sparking control panels. Status report, she called out, her voice hoarse. She pulled herself up from where she had fallen next to her command chair. Around her, her crew was slowly regaining consciousness. Jackson was already at his science station, working to restore power. Main power is down, he reported. Life support is running on emergency backups. Hull integrity is at 82%. Communications, Elena asked, looking toward Chen's station. Chen, wiping blood from a cut on her forehead, checked her controls. Communications are offline, Captain. I can't even tell if the system is damaged or if there's simply nothing to communicate with. Sensors. Elena turned to Vega. Vega had managed to get a partial system working. Limited function, sir, but what I can see. His voice trailed off. Report, Vega, Elena insisted. We're not where we were, sir. The stars are all wrong. Constellations don't match any in our database. Elena moved to look at Vega's display. The security chief was right. The star patterns visible outside the ship were completely unfamiliar. The gateway, Elena said quietly. It worked. But where are we? Chatri asked from the helm, which was now flickering back to life as Jackson rerouted power. More importantly, Chen added, can we get back? Elena had no answers for them yet. Jackson, focus on repairs. First priority is sensors. We need to know what's out there. Then communications and propulsion. Already on it, Captain, Jackson replied. But it's going to take time. Some of the systems were fried by whatever energy field we passed through. Elena nodded. Everyone else, help Jackson or tend to the injured. We'll regroup in 1 hour. 3 hours later, the Valiant had limped to the shadow of a small moon in an unknown star system. Basic systems were functioning again, though many were running at reduced capacity. The crew had gathered in the conference room to assess their situation. Based on stellar positioning and spectrographic analysis, Vega explained, pointing to a display, we're still in what appears to be the Milky Way galaxy. However, several star systems that should be there are missing, and others we've never recorded are present. A parallel dimension, Jackson suggested. The gateway must have sent us to a reality similar to our own but with differences. Is there any sign of Earth? Elena asked. Vega hesitated. There's a solar system approximately 15 light-years from our position that matches Earth's sun. But without better sensors, I can't confirm if Earth itself exists there. What about the gateway? Chen asked. Can we find our way back? The gateway structure doesn't appear to exist in this location in this dimension, Vega said. At least not that our sensors can detect. Elena considered their options. With limited fuel and damaged systems, they couldn't travel far, but staying in one place meant risking discovery by whoever, or whatever, existed in this dimension. We need more information, Elena decided. Set course for the Earth-like solar system, maximum sustainable speed. We'll approach cautiously and observe before making contact, if Earth exists here. It took the damaged Valiant nearly a week to reach the solar system. As they approached, their improved sensors confirmed what they had hoped for. Earth existed in this dimension too. But as they drew closer, the differences became apparent. Captain, Vega called out, his voice tense. I'm detecting large artificial structures in orbit around Earth, dozens of them. Design matches nothing in our database. Military installations? Elena asked. Based on power signatures and configuration, yes. And there's more. The lunar colonies are gone. Instead, there appears to be a massive mining operation. Elena ordered the ship to hold position just beyond the orbit of Mars. Can we monitor their communications? Chen worked at her station. I'm picking up transmissions, but the encryption is unlike anything I've seen. Give me time to analyze it. Hours passed as Chen worked on breaking the encryption. Finally, she succeeded in accessing what appeared to be a news broadcast from Earth. The crew gathered around the view screen, falling silent as the images appeared. Earth was still recognizable, but many cities appeared damaged or rebuilt in an unfamiliar style. The people looked human, but their clothing and appearance were slightly different from what the crew knew. Most shocking was the news itself. Reports of resistance fighters being captured, of alien governors imposing new restrictions, of humans being relocated for labor assignments. They're occupied, Elena said quietly. Earth is under alien control in this dimension. Can we identify the aliens? Jackson asked. Chen adjusted the feed to show footage of the occupiers, tall, scaled beings with vertical pupils. It's the Dracari, Vega confirmed, but not exactly our Dracari. Different evolution in this dimension. The same species, but their history took a different path, Jackson suggested. Elena watched the broadcast with a heavy heart. In their dimension, Earth and the Dracari were locked in a cold war, each side wary but not yet willing to engage in open conflict. Here, it seemed, the Dracari had already won. We need to know more, Elena said. Is there any way to contact the resistance without alerting the Dracari? The transmissions mentioned something called the Sanctuary, Chen reported. It seems to be a hidden base where resistance leadership operates from. They're using old radio frequencies for communication. Technology so outdated the Dracari don't bother monitoring it. Elena couldn't help but smile at the irony. Sometimes outdated isn't the same as useless. Can we use those frequencies? Yes, Chen replied. Our communication system may be old by Alliance standards, but it's perfectly capable of handling these transmissions. Send a message, Elena ordered. Keep it simple. Tell them we're friendlies seeking contact. Use the encryption algorithm they're using in their own communications. 24 hours later, they received a response. Coordinates for a rendezvous point in an asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, along with a warning. Come alone, or not at all. It could be a trap, Vega cautioned. Everything could be a trap. Elena replied. We need allies in this dimension if we're going to survive long enough to find a way home. Prepare a shuttle. Jackson, Chen, you're with me. Vega, you have command of the Valiant. If we're not back in 6 hours, take the ship and look for another way home. The journey to the rendezvous point was tense but uneventful. As they approached the designated asteroid, a hidden hangar door slid open, revealing a docking bay carved into the rock. Here goes nothing, Elena muttered as she guided the shuttle inside. Armed figures awaited them, humans in mismatched armor and with weapons of various origins. At their center stood a woman whose bearing immediately marked her as their leader. Power down and step out slowly, the woman called. Any sudden moves, and my people will open fire. Elena complied, and soon she and her officers stood face to face with the resistance fighters. The leader stepped forward, studying them with open suspicion. I'm Commander Diana Reeves of the Earth Resistance, she said. You claim to be friendlies. Explain yourselves and how you have Alliance uniforms. Elena took a deep breath. My name is Captain Elena Reyes of the Earth Alliance vessel Valiant. We're not from your dimension. We came through a gateway while escaping from Dracari forces in our own reality. Reeves's eyes widened, but her weapon didn't lower. Prove it. Over the next hour, Elena showed Reeves sensor data, ship logs, and personal records, evidence of a reality where Earth still stood free. Gradually, the resistance leader's suspicion gave way to cautious hope. In our history, Reeves explained as they sat in a makeshift command center, the Dracari arrived 15 years ago. They claimed to come in peace, offered advanced technology. By the time we realized their true intentions, it was too late. And now? Elena asked. Now we fight a guerrilla war we can't win, Reeves said bitterly. Their technology is too advanced, their numbers too great. We've been searching for any edge, any weapon that might turn the tide. Like a gateway to another dimension, Jackson suggested. Reeves's eyes sharpened. You know about the gateways. We came through one, Chen reminded her. Not just that one, Reeves said. The ancient network. The Dracari found the first gate 10 years ago. That's how they've been bringing in reinforcements and supplies, not just from their homeworld, but from conquered Earths in other dimensions. Elena felt cold. How many dimensions are we talking about? Dozens, maybe hundreds, Reeves replied. The network was built by a species long extinct, the architects, we call them. The Dracari have been systematically finding and controlling these gateways across multiple realities. And in your dimension, they've already won, Jackson said. Yes, but in yours, the war hasn't even begun, Reeves pointed out. If the Dracari in your reality find a functional gateway, Earth will fall, just like yours did. Elena finished the thought. Not if we can help it, Reeves said, determination hardening her features. Your ship, it has detailed scans of the gateway you came through. Elena nodded. Yes, but what good does that do us? We can't go back the way we came. For the first time, Reeves smiled. No, but there's another gateway. One the Dracari don't know about yet. We've been studying it for months, trying to activate it. You're saying we could go home? Chen asked, hope evident in her voice. Possibly, Reeves replied. With your scans and our research, we might be able to calibrate it to send you back to your exact dimension. And what do you get out of this? Elena asked, ever cautious. Reeves leaned forward. Intelligence. If you make it back, you can warn your Earth about what's coming. Maybe your dimension's humanity can stop the Dracari before it's too late. It was a fair trade. A chance to go home in exchange for information that could save billions of lives. Elena agreed without hesitation. Over the next 2 days, the Valiant's crew worked alongside the Resistance fighters. Jackson and Chen combined their gateway data with the Resistance's research, slowly unraveling the secrets of the ancient technology. It's like a cosmic address system, Jackson explained during a briefing. Each gateway has a unique quantum signature, If we can match the signature of our home dimension, we can open a path directly there. And the Drakari won't be able to follow? Vega asked. Not immediately, Reeves said. It will take them time to decode the signature. Time your Earth can use to prepare. On the third day, as they prepared for the attempt to activate the hidden gateway, alarms sounded throughout the asteroid base. Drakari patrol ships, a resistance fighter announced. They're scanning the belt. They must have detected your shuttle's energy signature, Reeves said. We need to move now, before they find the base. The plan accelerated from days to hours. The Valiant was positioned near the hidden gateway, a structure smaller than the one they had first encountered but built with the same technology. Energy levels rising, Jackson reported as they initiated the activation sequence. The gateway is responding. Drakari ships are changing course, Vega announced from tactical. They've detected us. How long until the gateway is fully operational? Elena asked. 3 minutes, Jackson replied. But the Drakari will be in weapons range in 2. Shields up, Elena ordered. Prepare for combat. The Valiant, old, damaged, and far from home, faced down 3 Drakari warships as the gateway behind them slowly came to life. They're hailing us, Chen reported. Ignore them, Elena said. Vega, target their lead ship's propulsion systems. Fire when ready. The Valiant's weapons, modified far beyond their original specifications, lanced out, striking the lead Drakari vessel with surprising effectiveness. The alien ship listed to one side, its engines flickering. Direct hit, Vega reported with satisfaction. Their shields were calibrated for more modern weapons. They weren't expecting our outdated phase cannons. The other Drakari ships opened fire, their energy weapons impacting against the Valiant's shields. Shield strength at 60%, Jackson called out. Gateway is at 85% activation. Evasive maneuvers, Elena ordered Katri. Keep us between the Drakari and the gateway. The old ship moved with surprising agility, dancing between enemy fire while maintaining its defensive position. 1 minute to full gateway activation, Jackson announced. Shields at 30%, Vega warned as another volley of Drakari weapons fire struck them. Reroute power from non-essential systems, Elena commanded. We just need to hold out a little longer. The Valiant shuddered under another barrage. Conduits burst, and emergency alarms wailed across the bridge. Gateway activated, Jackson shouted triumphantly over the chaos. Before them, the small ring structure now pulsed with the same swirling energy they had seen before, a doorway home. Take us in, full impulse, Elena ordered. As the Valiant surged forward toward the gateway, a final message came through from Commander Reeves. Good luck, Captain. Remember your promise. Save your Earth. We will, Elena whispered as the Valiant plunged into the swirling vortex, leaving behind the Drakari ships and a dimension where humanity fought a losing battle for survival. Once again, the crew experienced the disorienting sensation of passage, the blinding light, the feeling of being pulled in all directions at once. And